If you've ever tried animating a big screenshot on Premiere Pro and it looked awkward, zoomed in weirdly, or completely broke your framing, this is exactly how to fix that. I'm gonna show you how to animate screenshots smoothly and professionally in Premiere Pro, even if they're bigger than your sequence. We'll add clean movement, proper framing, and even motion blur, so your screenshots feel expensive and intentional. But the best part, I'm also gonna show you how to turn it into a preset so that you never have to rebuild the animation from scratch again. So for example, I wanna make a big screenshot of James Cameron's Instagram page that's going to not just take kind of this part of the screen, but also it's going to take like a lot lower. How do we do it? Well, long story short, it's just we have to combine multiple screenshots together. So I'm going to take a screenshot on Mac, it's Shift Command 3. On Windows, there's a number of ways to do screenshots as well, so just choose whatever option works for you or just search for it online. Now, an important note is that we're going to stitch our screenshot in the empty parts of the screenshot. So for example, like we can make a cut here. As you can see, this line here, that's going to separate this line from the line that's lower. If I scroll down, we'll cut the top screenshot to right here, and then we're going to cut this one up until this point. And so if we can scroll down even further and take another screenshot. So we have 3 big screenshots, 1, 2, and 3. Another important note is that it works both for vertical and horizontal. In this case, why don't we do vertical? Once you understand the system, if you need to do it for the horizontal, it's done exactly the same, so you won't have any problem with that. So I'm going to create this sequence. It's going to be 1080 by 1920. The frame rates I'm just going to set to 30 and press OK. In this case, I'm going to go into the vertical workspace. I'm going to select the 3 screenshots and drop them into Premiere. I'm just going to drop them into our timeline. And now I'm going to put them in this manner where it's just going to be kind of from the top to the bottom. The top one is going to be the first one. This is going to be the second one. This is going to be the third one. Usually the way they are added into the sequence is one by one because that's the way they are present here. So this is the first one, second one, and the third one. So that's what I'm going to do. Put them like so, make them longer to whatever length you need. The next thing, we need to select them, right click and nest the sequence. But if you want to set it as a shortcut, if you search for nest, clip nest, you can put a shortcut for yourself. In my case, it's Option C, so that whenever I do a big screenshot, I just press Option C, it's going to nest it, and let's call it big screenshot. Now I'm going to go into the sequence. Next, we have to fit it to the screen. We can select the first one and then make it smaller on the screen to something like so. Just have a bit of room to the left and to the right, or we can make it even smaller. Doesn't really matter. And I'm just going to drag it to the top, and this is going to be the top part. Now I'm going to use the crop tool to crop the bottom of this one to, and let's zoom in here. So if I go to 7, it's a bit too much. 6 is not enough, so we need to do like 6.5. Yes, that works. And then I'm going to click here to fit the screen. Now we know that the scale of this one is 30, so we need to put the scale of the second one to 30 as well, and then we can copy the motion and put it onto the third one. For the second one, I'm just going to put it like so. So we know where the cut is, right? It's right here. So all we have to do is just to put this line to like this cut over here. So let's go ahead and do that. Maybe I cut a little bit too much, but usually with screenshots, people don't notice the small details because it's just so small, so it's not going to be a problem at all. And then for the last screenshot, we have to do the same thing. We have to drag it, but then we have to crop the second screenshot from the bottom as well. So let me disable this one and this one so that we know the second screenshot is right over here, and we need to crop it from the bottom as well. And this time let's try 4.4. Perfect. I'm going to enable the one at the bottom and put it like so. There you go. And let's enable the first one. Okay, and now we need to put the one at the bottom a little bit higher, do it like this. But what you might have noticed that the one at the bottom is cut, and what if we want to make a bigger screenshot? Well, all we have to do is to make our sequence bigger. So we need to go into sequence settings. In this case, it's 1080 by 1920, but what we can do is we can make it even bigger. We can make it to like 5,000 pixels, right? And that's how it's going to be. Of course, we need to do a bit of rearrangement. So we have to zoom in here like so, then drag the second one higher as well till it fits perfectly, like so. and then the one at the bottom, drag even higher, make sure the fitment is perfect. And then if we want to add another one, we can add it to the bottom as well. And if we want to change the resolution of the sequence to make the screenshots even better quality, we can absolutely do that. So we just have to open the sequence settings, and then we need to increase the horizontal width, and that works the same for vertical and horizontal. So if we had a horizontal video, it would be 1920 by, let's say, 5000. It doesn't really matter. And then we press OK. So if we come to our sequence, here's what's going to happen. We have this very big screenshot that we can animate. Now, if we want to do even bigger one, let me just quickly add another screenshot. So I just added like another screenshot. Let me quickly show it to you. There you go, this very last one. And if I go into the sequence, there you go, it's going to stay like here. So basically we just put this very big screenshot in Premiere Pro together. Now we can actually create big screenshots like PDF screenshots or like actual like JPEG screenshots using third-party apps. But the problem is that the files become so big and so heavy that when you add it into Premiere, it doesn't work. It absolutely kills your computer and your sequences. So that's kind of the only way that works really well. Now, if we go into effects and we apply the transform effect, just drop it into our screenshot. If we animate the position, for example, because it's exactly the same, right? It's the same as animating the one at the top, but the one over here is going to be just a little bit better because we can click on this button and increase the shutter angle to, let's say, 180. And when we do the animation, so I can drag it like so, and if I see it's in between, and if I move the keyframes closer, we'll see that we have this beautiful motion blur that looks really, really expensive. It's as simple as that. And then another thing you can do is you can, for example, like click on is in, is out. So is out, and let's try is in, and let me just fit this one to the screen. So let's see what we have. It's going to start slow, start smooth. Actually, let's make it perfect. So it starts from something like this. Perfect. And we can actually make it even smoother by opening this up and then dragging these like so. So let's see what we have. Perfect. Now, obviously, you have a bit of stuff here on the right. You can get rid of that easily by just coming to the screenshots and, let's say, drawing something like, let me just try to draw a big rectangle, and we can make it even bigger. That's one way to do it, right? And then we just change the color of that one to white, and perfect. We don't see any of the the messaging on the right. So when we come to this sequence, we're not going to have any, or we can just, let's say, crop it from the right. So if I delete this one, crop things on the right by, let's zoom in, let's try 15. 15 is actually like super precise, like exactly on the cut here. So we just have to add 15 on every single screenshot, like so. And then if we want to add the white stuff in the background, all we have to do is to come here, new item, color matte, and let's just add like a white one, then drop it here, and there you go. Now we have the white stuff. Now, how do we turn it into a preset? You need to think through in advance what kind of screenshots you're going to do in the future. Because if you're going to do screenshots that are horizontal or vertical, that's different preset for each one of them. But for my clients, I used to do screenshots in just one simple way. You can come into the big screenshot, and if let's say you do a lot of Instagram screenshots, you come to our big sequence, you select the first screenshot, you go into effects control, and then you copy the motion, then you select the motion and save it as a preset. So let's call it big screenshot 1 and press OK. Now, if we go into effects, we are going to have our big screenshot over here. What we can do is we can actually create a new preset bin and just do the same for the position of each one of the screenshots. So for the second one, right click, save preset, big screenshot 2, big screenshot 3, 4, and however many you have, then put them into a folder. Here's an example of a big screenshot. So first, second, third, fourth. So that this is kind of the way I do it, from the first to the fourth. And so let's say we start from the very beginning. We add these 4 screenshots here, and maybe this one here at last. So what would happen is I would go into the preset, I'd select this big screenshot and apply it to this one, right? And it's going to be exactly the same, in exactly the same position, like everything is going to be the same. And then You can also create a preset for this movement, for this animation. All you have to do is just to save the transform, right click, save preset, and then you can call it something like scroll down, transform, 10 seconds. So my tip for you is to identify the pattern of what kind of screenshots you want to do. If you don't have a pattern yet, don't worry about saving it as a preset, just do it a couple of times. Once you understand the patterns, then you can just easily save it, and that's it. If you found this video valuable, there's a good chance that you will like this video here, so go ahead and click on it.